We're now standing outside of the National Museum of Scotland, which doesn't have anything to do with Harry Potter, but is a good place to stand. Also a good museum, and it's free, so check it out if you would like to. So at our last stop, we talked about where Harry Potter began. At this stop, we are going to talk about where Harry Potter finished. So as I said, when J.K. Rowling became too famous, she couldn't write in cafes anymore. She moved on to more luxurious locations. And what I meant by this was the Balmoral Hotel. Now, this is a big, posh, fancy hotel on Princes Street, the other side of Northbridge. It's a big square building, lots of windows, clock tower on top. Now, it was the early 2000s, and J.K. Rowling wasn't staying in any old room. Oh no, she was staying in the grand deluxe suite of the Balmoral Hotel as she was writing the end of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Now, I'm not talking about the 19 years later bit, because she had actually written that previously, because she always knew how she wanted the books to end, which I think shows her genius that she was able to chop and start and still have it all go together so cohesively by the end of it. But the bit I'm talking about is end of the Battle of Hogwarts, throwing away of the Elder Wand, emotions are everywhere, none of us can take it, all of this kind of stuff. So she's writing, and then suddenly she has finished. And she has written all of the Harry Potter she is ever going to write. So again, she is really overwhelmed, and she did what anyone would do in her situation if they are over 18, which is that she went straight to the minibar, got out a bottle of champagne, and downed half of it in one go. Yes, JK. She then went over to a bust, so like a stone statue of the head of Plato, turned him upside down and wrote on the bottom of him in Sharpie, J.K. Rowling finished Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows here, 11th of January 2007. Now, if you or I committed an act of what is essentially drunken vandalism in a Balmoral hotel suite, we would be getting in a lot of trouble. We would have a strongly worded letter and a fine to pay. But J.K. Rowling does whatever the hell J.K. Rowling wants to do. So instead of getting in trouble for this, they actually honoured her for this. And that suite is now called the J.K. Rowling Suite in the Balmoral Hotel. Has a little brass knocker of an owl on the door, so you know that it's the Harry Potter suite. What used to be room number 553 is now 553 and 3/4. And poor Plato has been turned upside down on his head forever with a glass case put around him so everybody can see what she wrote. And the best bit about all of this is that we can all go and stay there. Not together, that'd be weird. But separately we can go and stay there for the small, reasonable price of £1,800 per night per person. But you know, we're all Harry Potter fans here, why not treat ourselves? No, I'm kidding, that is outrageous. But for anyone who might be slightly on the fence, I do have a piece of information that might help sway your mind, which is that I can confirm that within that price, breakfast is included. We're all going now, right? Okay, so we are now going to head on round to our next stop as we head on round to the Elephant House to talk about the lies they are spreading.
And I was drinking, and I wasn't here drunk or anything. I just see her drunk. She said I'm hyper. She's lying. I got hyper.
Yeah.
I got hyper, but
With your Pinocchio, your nose would be like that.
oh shit.
That's her nose.
So we are now standing opposite the Elephant House with this big sign in the window saying that it is the birthplace of Harry Potter, but as I have said, they are liars because it was only opened a year after the first Harry Potter book was published. So how come they get to have that big sign in their window then? We are all thinking angrily. Now is your cue to think that angrily. If anyone wants to add in an angry fist shake, it's encouraged at this point in the tour. Yeah, let it out. Brilliant. I like the growling there as well. Okay, I'm going to tell you for why. As some of you may have already noticed, birthplace is written in inverted commas, quotation marks, so they have kind of covered their back there. Secondly, in my opinion, birthplace is an ambiguous term, like maybe the second book was born there, or a key concept of the third book was born there. The fact of the matter is, J.K. Rowling did spend a lot of time writing inside the Elephant House. There's photos, there's videos, there's interviews. There is an interview on the Elephant House website of her experience talking inside there. And there even used to be this framed photo, a framed painting of her writing in the window, which to be honest, I'm quite glad they took down because I always thought it was very creepy. Now, her favorite place to sit was a table right at the back. And this table is in front of a big window. And the window looks out and has a perfect view over Edinburgh Castle. So what she used to do was she would write. And as she was writing, she would imagine that Edinburgh Castle is Hogwarts and that everything that she writes in that moment is happening in that very same moment in front of her eyes in the castle. So you can see how that would have been inspiring. It's very clever. However, it's not just the fact that J.K. Rowling used to write there which gives the Elephant House its modern day Harry Potter significance. It is also, believe it or not, the toilets, which have significance because they have become the unofficial sign-up list for Dumbledore's army. So if you go inside the toilets, you will see written all over the walls, people signing up their names to be a part of the DA. People writing tributes, things like, Hogwarts is our home, Weasley is our king, Dobby is a free elf, all of this kind of stuff all over the walls. And people actually sign up so much that once a year the staff in the Elephant House have to completely repaint the walls to make way for the next group of people who are going to sign up. Which proves that there's a lot of us in Dumbledore's army right now, and that Harry Potter fans never give up. So if you would like to add your name to the list in the toilets after the tour, why not? What fun. For now, however, we are going to head on to our final stop of the tour, unfortunately, but luckily it is a good one. Okay, so welcome everybody to the last stop of the tour, but more importantly, welcome to Diagon Alley. So this is Victoria Street, and it is the street that Diagon Alley in the Harry Potter books is based on. So if you remember the way this street is described in the books, it's got cobbled roads, it's got two sides of the street close together, it's got lots of different colour shops packed one in next to the other, and even the 2 layers, which is pretty magical. But it's not just the way the street looks that has helped inspire that one. There are also corresponding shops here, as you would find there. For example, there is an antiques bookshop like Flourish and Blots. There is a shop that sells wands along with other magic paraphernalia like Ollivander's. There is a tailor shop like Madame Malkin's. The Pizza Express that we just walked by in the 90s when she was writing the books was a big bank at the head of the street, just like how Gringotts is the big bank at the head of Diagon Alley. And even down at the other end of the street, we have a joke shop like Weasley's Wizarding Wheezes. However, they have a sign inside their store saying J.K. Rowling never came in here, do not ask. So they don't really want to be disturbed. So there are some other streets in the UK which also claim to be the inspiration for Diagon Alley, such as Cecil's Court in London and Gandhi Street in Exeter. However, here in Edinburgh, we have something which those other cities don't have, which is that whilst we have our very own Diagon Alley, we also have our very own Nocturne Alley, because there's a street leading off the Royal Mile called Coburn Street, which looks identical to this one, whereas this one curves to the left, that one curves to the right. And in the 90s, this street was very bubbly and fun and bright, and that street was very dark and shady and scary. So that street was essentially the evil twin of this street, just like how Nocturne Alley is the evil twin of Diagon Alley. So Edinburgh wins. Not that I'm biased or anything. So I now have 2 of my own personal Harry Potter facts to share with you. The first one of them is that I went to school with Emma Watson, which is pretty cool. She was a few years older than me, and yes, we did talk. One time she asked me to pass the salt, so we are officially best friends for life now. That's how it works. Sorry, I don't make the rules. The second thing is I was lucky enough to meet J.K. Rowling once at a book signing at a castle up in the Highlands. It was very cool. I was very excited, but I didn't have very long to decide what I was going to say to her. So the best I could come up with was, I'd just like to say thank you for everything. She was like, thanks. I'm sure she'd never heard that before. Okay, I now have one final piece of Harry Potter trivia to leave you all on, which is that for one night only, for the publishing of the 6th Harry Potter book, The Half-Blood Prince, Edinburgh Castle was transformed into Hogwarts. So there was a competition for school children to write 200 words about why Harry Potter meant so much to them. And the lucky winning children were picked up in the bottom of the Royal Mile in horse-drawn carriage and rode to the top, where the Great Hall in the castle was transformed into the Great Hall in Hogwarts. Now I'm talking banners, flags, magicians, musicians, acrobats. There were projectors onto the ceiling to make it look like the night sky, and there were hundreds of candles hanging from invisible wires. There were 4 big long wooden tables out from the back of the hall and read to them the beginning of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince before anyone else in the world had ever heard it before.
Wow.
So I tell that story for 3 reasons. Firstly, because it's really, really cool. Secondly, because I'm always hoping that one day one of the kids that was there is going to be on my tour and be like, I was there. And thirdly, because why not give everybody somebody to be a little bit more jealous about for the rest of the day? So that is all that I've got for you guys. Thank you so much for coming on the Potter Trail today. I hope you enjoyed yourselves.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. If you liked it, rate us on TripAdvisor. I'm going to have to ask for the wands back in a minute because of the magical safety regulations. I'm sure you understand. Appreciate any donations that you can give. Tours like this usually around £10 per person. But if you can just give whatever you think the tour is worth into my hat at the end, that'd be awesome. Thank you all so much for coming.